Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Cottage Garden. This game is designed by one of my favorite designers, Uwe Rosenberg, and it is published by Stronghold Games. It is a 2 to 4 player game where you're trying to make the most prestigious garden as an amateur gardener. Let's go ahead down the table here. I'll give you a general idea how the game plays, and then I'll come back and I'll give you my final thoughts. Okay, so this is what a setup of Cottage Garden might look like. A couple things to note when you're setting up the game. You're going to look at the player count and start the die on the 1. If it's 3 or more, it starts on 2 if it's 1 or 2 players. And the goal of the game here is just going to get as many points as you can. So you're going to try to move these blue and orange cubes up these tracks here. Wherever they're at the end of the game is the points that you're going to get. So you're going to look to get them as high up on that track as possible. You can get bonus points for getting yours up here first. If you're first, you're going to get the 2 points. If you're second, you get the 1 point. So you can get a couple extra points that way with the beehives. And they do sometimes make a difference. Nothing else really scores in the game. So that's it. You're just trying to move these cubes up and get as much points as you possibly can by the end of the game. Well, how do you do that? Well, you do that by completing these beds. So on your turn, as the game goes by, you're going to do a couple different actions. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to refill. So if anything in the row that you are picking from is empty, you'll refill it real quick from this garden trail. So you pick this one up, you'll put it on the track, and then you'll continue until it's filled. Then you're going to plant your garden. You're going to pick one of these things. So I'm going to pick this one and put it on your board. And this was probably not the best one to pick, but I'm just going to go with it. We're going to move it all the way up here. So why would I pick that one? Well, what you're looking for is to fill this board and not have any empty dirt patches. Once that happens, you're going to score your, not score, but you're going to move either your pots or your cloisters up. And it's going to be 1 cube that amount. So right now I would move an orange one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. I would want to move the cloisters 2, which 2 is just 1 because these are 2, 4, 6, 8. But it has to be completely filled. So you'll completely fill this board, and you can use cats on your turn to finish one off. So it could be possible to get multiple boards done in one turn, but you will score those boards. When you score the boards, basically move these up. So let's say, pretend that I did have this filled. I would have moved this one up 5, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would move this one up 2. I would flip this board, put it in the general supply, and get a new one. All right. And then anything all the flowers that I had on there would go in the end of the line there. After that, I'm going to move this one, and the next player will go. So on and so forth until we get to the 6th round. A couple other things to note before I jump into what happens in the 6th round is if you ever go past this red line with any of your stuff, you're going to get a cat. So get one of these cats. If you ever don't want to pick anything up on the board, you can get one of these pots and put it down. So if there's something on the board like, nothing works, I'm going to get a pot and put it down. Which is nice because it's going to help move one of these forward for you. Other things to note that there is no excess. So if I had 18 or some huge number of pots and I wanted to move this across, excess is gone. So that's another thing to remember in this game. Finally, what's important for the 6th and final round is when we flip to the 6th. So we're going to go, since we're playing through 3 players right now, we're going to go here. When it hits, it's going to say flip the die. So if we're on the 1 go round, this would turn into a 2. We'd go around, turn to 3. When it gets to a 6, the final round will occur. On the final round, you're going to take a look at your boards. Any board, so you would get these from the board here, I'm just grabbing some randomly to show you here. So let's say I had that. So this board here has 3 flower pots. Anything with 3 flowers is going to stay. Anything else will go away. So this board will go away. I will now have the opportunity to try to finish this board before the game ends. Unfinished boards don't count for anything. So this is my last chance to try to complete what I have. After that, final scoring will begin. You're just going to take what the places that you have on the board for these, add them all up, and if you have any beehives, you're going to get 1 or 2 points for those, and the person with the highest points wins. So let's go ahead back up to the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Cottage Garden. So that was a really quick overview of how to play the game. It just gives you the idea of the game flow itself. This game is sort of like a more complicated version of Patchwork, which I do also like. I do appreciate that this game has a little bit more to it than Patchwork. They're both fine games and they're both great games. In fact, if you like Patchwork, I would highly recommend checking out Cottage Garden. There's a lot to love about this game. I love the puzzle of picking out the polynomials and finishing those paths or those gardens properly, and maximizing movement of my cubes to try to get as much points as possible throughout the game. It's also a little stressful when it gets to the end of the game. Good stress when you need to make sure you have at least 3 on your gardens, but you have to also weigh in just finishing them. So it's hard to finish 2 on the last 6th round, depending on what you have left. So you need to just have that in your mind while you play through the game. So there's a lot of strategy in this game, and there's a lot of thought in this game, and it's a fun game, and I love the theme. So that's my thoughts on Cottage Garden. Thank you for watching.